Hello there, Internet's Mogwai here, and I got yet another MTG Arena video for you guys today. As today, we are one day late to deliver this deck. I am sorry about that, but I also, I've taken some time, and it's just like, I've come to the conclusion, or the realization, that it's okay if I miss an upload for the sake of the deck. That's what happened here. I spent a lot of time. I'm not even going to admit how many hours I spent on this deck. It's gone through many different phases, and this is the final product, and I thought it was going to be ready by tomorrow, but it really wasn't. Like, I recorded the video, and I started to notice some flaws within my reasoning, the theory basically behind the deck, and I made a lot of changes, and now I finally, with confidence, have a Scavenger's Talent, very strong Scavenger's Talent mid-range list that I used in this absence to reach Mythic rank. Yep, we made it to Mythic rank with none other than this deck right here, ladies and gentlemen. So let's talk about it. We built the deck around Scavenger's Talent, the 1-mana enchantment class from Bloom Barrow. It's perhaps the lesser popular black class compared to the Bandit's Talent, but it is one that has tremendous power within. Whenever one or more creatures you control die, you create a food token. But this ability will only trigger once each turn. On your turn and on your opponent's turn. Only once then. On each. Let's clarify that. We can level up to 2 for 2 mana, and then whenever we sacrifice a permanent, target player mills 2 cards. This is a very powerful effect. A very, very powerful milling effect once we have established our setup. And it's so strong that we will be milling ourselves aggressively with enchantment, but we will reach a point in which we have very few cards left in our deck, and then we can pull the trigger and actually turn it into an alternative win condition. If we cannot break through our opponent, if they just keep answering our board development again and again, we can resort to the Scavenger's Talent to, in a dragged out match, mill them. And it is very efficient at doing that. Do not underestimate the level 2 of Scavenger's Talent. Not only does it help us, obviously, as we sack our permanents by filling up our graveyard so we have targets to resurrect with level 3, but it is very, very, very reliable as an alternate win condition against control matchups, and I love it a lot because of that, even though a lot of the control decks running around right now run the 3-mana imprisonment, the lockdown. The temporary lockdown, which is a hard counter to our deck, but we can still power through it. In fact, today we may feature a matchup in which we run into that, without trying to spoil things. But we got level 3, then, for 3 mana, we level up to the final level. At the beginning of your end step, this is when things get nutty, you may sacrifice 3 other non-land permanents. If you do, return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter. So what we have here, ladies and gentlemen, is a Reanimator Golgari list that is blending in food token synergy and rat synergy, token synergy, English, with Lord Skitter. We have a bunch of different ways to generate tokens. That's what we want with this deck. We want tokens because we have so many different uses for the tokens beyond the Scavenger's Talent. We have the Vine Reap Mentor, which upon entry and on death creates a food token for us. We have, like I mentioned, the Lord Skitter Sewer King as a full set to allow us to start generating rat creature tokens at the beginning of every combat phase, while also being able to interact with the opposing graveyard. Lord Skitter's Butcher can also potentially generate a rat token upon entry, or can be used to sack one of the tokens to scry 2, then draw a card. Very powerful draw effect right here. It's technically more precise than something like a 4-mana draw 2 spell, because we're scrying 2 and then we're drawing, so we're able to go through the top 3 cards of our deck to try to find what we need, and I really like it because of that. We also have Izoni. Izoni allows us to sacrifice 4 tokens and surveil 2, then draw 2 cards and gain 2 life. Very strong effect that can be easily enabled with this. We also have 2 copies of Merrick's, our only colorless source of land, besides Fabled Passage, which really isn't the case, to potentially also generate us more tokens to fill this. We will never run out of use for tokens. We will never run out of tokens to sacrifice with this deck. So we have a mid-range list that on every aspect of the curve is very efficient at generating these tokens. That's why we run, alongside the full set of Skyfisher Spider, a couple of copies of the Bristlebud Farmer, who can allow us to generate 2 foods upon entry, and allowing us to keep the engine ongoing. Because what an engine this deck has. Oh my god. The reason why it took me so long to reach this is because I've tried a bunch of different things. At first, I was focusing more on an aristocratic sort of deck. I did not run the Vine Reap Mentor, which was clearly a mistake early on. And then the problem was, for the longest of time, I ran the Viper. So this card right here, that a lot of you are probably thinking, why are you not running this card? Timmy, I've tried this card for like 7 hours, okay? And it took me a while, but I finally realized why this is not the home for this card. This card fits decks that are able to generate a bunch of permanents and tokens and sack. And it seems like we're talking about exactly the same deck, right? The problem is with the Roundmouth Viper is that it is a very aggressive effect that requires you to just like sack a good chunk of your board to get it in for very cheap mana. And the issue with this is that the Roundmouth Viper competes with the Scavenger's talent for this. And I found that more often than not, even like resurrecting the snake was not really enough to put an end to the game, right? In a dragged out game in which, because the Roundmouth Viper really excels when you're able to play it early. But if you're using it as a late game win condition in a deck like this, you're going to be disappointed. And I was on copium with the card. I kept playing with it, and I realized that this deck did not need the Roundmouth Viper as a win condition. It needed something stronger, something to capitalize on our ability to sack all these permanents, including, or specifically, creatures. And that is none other than Vein Ripper. Vein Ripper, the moment I added this card onto this deck, is the moment we started winning again and again and again. And it's the way... it's the version of the deck that got us through Diamond 2 all the way up to Mythic rank, and it was a glorious climb. We had some amazing games that I wish I was recording, but I was doing this like very late and trying to make sure that the deck was ready. But man, I got some incredible matches in that run, and I made it to Mythic rank with this. And Vein Ripper really made a difference. Vein Ripper is also the reason why we're running a one-off of Coiling Rebirth. If you guys have seen my Aristocrat deck, I am a big fan of Coiling Rebirth into Vein Ripper. I think it's a phenomenal combo that allows you to really seal a game, even against highly reactive decks. And I may showcase that combo in today's video as well. As what we have here is a deck that just generates a bunch of fodder, has cards that sack the fodder and give you benefits from sacking the fodder, and then with Scavenger's Talent, we can very efficiently mill ourselves and find that Azoni, find that Vein Ripper, those Skyfisher Spiders, and get them back on the board at the end of every turn with the level 3. And it is an incredibly fun deck to play. Like I've said multiple times before, I am a sucker for Golgari decks. I am even more of a sucker for Golgari decks with a lot of graveyard interaction. This is one of, if not my favorite combination, in case I haven't said that before. And what we got going on here is a very optimized version of that has been doing wonders for me. Fabled Passage works really well with Scavenger's Talent because we can sacrifice it and it counts as a permanent, which allows us to trigger the level 2, in case you were wondering, as we have an emphasis on black mana, but a good enough density of sources of green mana to enable Vine Reap Mentor on 2. And to enable Bristlebud Farmer on 4, despite the fact that it requires 2 sources of green mana. So the land distributions are very well thought out, and all in all, I have a deck here that I'm going to showcase more. Like, honestly, the amount of hours that I put into this deck for just one video, in which I didn't really even get to showcase all the facets of the deck itself, that just doesn't sit well with me, so you guys can expect this to be an upload later down the line throughout the month, because this deck is just... it's very special for me. Like, it really... it put in the work, but it was one of the hardest brews for me because I've tried... there's so many things that you guys are going to ask me, why are you not playing this? I've tried it. Trust me. I've tried it all. But all in all, this final result is just... yeah, this deck is legit. So I'm going to stop talking. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for daily Magic the Gathering content. Hope you enjoyed today's games. Leave a like for butchers and scavengers and, underappreciated cards as we do here. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, we go. We're hangry for wins. This is a deck that took so much time to actually optimize. One could definitely consider like the amount of time spent for just one video highly inefficient, and they wouldn't be wrong. But I don't think it's bad to live life with a quality over quantity mentality. As we're gonna lead off with the Divine Root Mentor, we see an Inspiring Vantage. Now, that could mean they have something like a shock. Worst case scenario, they have the one that exiles. Oh, okay. That's annoying. We miss out on a food because of that, and on a potential resurrection target later down the line. So that's a pretty ideal answer for them. This could be a type of like Boros control deck that I've been seeing. It's weird to say Boros control, but it is legitimately a thing. Who needs blue? We are going to go with the Bristlebutt Farmer. Get some more food tokens in there. We haven't found the Scavenger's talent yet, which sucks. We have a Skyfisher Spider without real targets. Like, we need this Bristlebutt to go to the graveyard if he dies, because at least we have the mana for we have the evidence to collect with his Zoni. But Bristlebutt for this color combination is not the easiest thing to get rid of. I do know that they run stuff like Lightning Helix, but they go for the temporary lockdown, which is one of the reasons why this kind of matchup can be quite rough. Fortunately for us, I made a mistake playing the land there. We find another Bristlebutt Farmer, and we can definitely just pick the land. The land kind of like guarantees that we're able to play Zoni next turn. And wow! That's the way to start things. Yeah, this basically, wow, this deck sucks. This is probably what some people are thinking watching this, but this is a legitimate threat. They run the enchantment that only allows each player to play one card each turn. And they have a bunch of strong planeswalkers and great AoE, you know, a combination of like damage, healing, and also like full board wipes, right? Just any sort of like white-based control is extremely annoying because of perhaps like the most annoying card for me in Standard is actually the 5-mana board wipe that exiles everything. That's that kind of card always hits you hard no matter what. But you know, we just farmed it. We just farmed the win. Let's go and get like a real game, right? Let's do it. All right, round 2 against Tia Gubik. It's a bit of a strange name, but yeah, we keep this. Again, no Scavenger's talent, but we have a 3-lander with non-vermin into Lord Skitter. And that is an opener I can get behind. We actually get rid of 2 lands. And it seems like this could be Boros Convoke. We're going to drop that Restless Cottage now, keep the non-vermin in the back. Non-vermin actually extremely useful in this kind of matchup. If we can get rid of the Jotland frontliner, which I will, they're attacking before developing, is so I can play Lord Skitter, and I can get rid of it. Because that has an unearth effect, which allows them to respawn it from the graveyard. They found their source of white mana, and there's the Lightning Helix. They play Lightning Helix. Okay, so it's not exactly the deck that I thought it would be. We're gonna repeat the process though. Before we attack, Lord Skitter, continue to attack the graveyard. That's why I play Lord Skitter as a 4-of. He's so fundamental to this deck. Like, if Lord Skitter sticks on the board, then everything else is just so much easier. Okay, so yeah, I'm seeing Boros like convoke elements here. Let's mill ourselves. And let's go for Lord Skitter's Butcher. With Lord Skitter's Butcher, what we're going to do is we're going to sacrifice the Gnawing Vermin and deal with the Sandguy Evangelist. Oh, yeah. I mean, another land is not bad. Especially considering we have an Izoni. Yeah, I'm not against that, actually. But the Sandguy Evangelist, even though it's going to spawn another bat when it dies, the Battle Cry is actually very dangerous. And we're going to use offense. We're going to erase them. We have, like, that's the power of Lord Skitter. If he goes unanswered, he just keeps providing us value. And Aura Brass Forge, okay, it's not, this is kind of like a hybrid going on here. I am going to block into that, prevent every ounce of damage that I can, even if it's at the expense of this, now vulnerable to a shock, but didn't think so. What we're going to do here is very simple. We're going to swing first. See if we can bait some trades here. There we go. And then we play the Skyfisher Spider. We sack a rat. No more forge for you. Shutting that down. I can't say I'm surprised by that reaction. That's, you know, that's the core of this deck. Lord Skitter. You know, that's why it took me a while, but eventually I was like, I need to run 4 copies of this guy because he gets answered every single time. Like, if the opponent has something to kill him, they're going to use it. Right? Like, this card is pretty scary to be left unchecked. And having 4 copies of it just enhances the chances of us playing it on turn 3, which is what this deck always wants to do. And, you know, if it gets removed, we can play another one. And as long as we can keep generating more rats, it's not just the Skyfisher Spider, it's the Lord Skitter's Butcher, and obviously the Scavenger's Talent. Like, there's always going to be use for these tokens within this deck. So, integral part here, and it's just something as simple as Lord Skitter on 3 and Skyfisher on 4 is just always going to be a pretty damn good play. So, yeah. Round 3. Terminal. With an avatar that I've never seen before, actually. Another 3-lander, another Lord Skitter on 3, another keep. The only thing that we would want to ask out of this hand is Scavenger's Talent, which seems to be eluding us today. But we have that 2-drop. We find that Fabled Passage, which is really good, considering it's going to be our 4th land. Vine Reap Mentor, start generating some tokens, offer a trade into Jolien Frontliner. Hopefully they set up some sort of attack. And I don't like that. That leads to an equal trade because that allows me to immediately shut that down with Lord Skitter. Something odd would have to happen here, though. They would have to find a way to buff it and not lose card advantage. And that doesn't seem to be the case. We're just spreading out instead. We are going to go for Lord Skitter. The earlier we play Lord Skitter, the better. Even if there is no graveyard target, we're going to keep the Vine Reap Mentor in the back. This board may not seem like much now, but it can grow. It can grow fast. I think Boros Convoke has kind of been replaced by Selesnya Rabbits, though. Because Selesnya Rabbits is just capable of some insane momentum. Boros has this, though. Boros has this. And are they going to unearth that immediately? I mean, it's now or never, because Lord Skitter will erase it. Okay. Well, that's terrifying. Okay, they didn't find the haste guy. I repeat, they did not find the haste guy. And we're going to be able to get rid of the Jatian Frontliner with Lord Skitter here. I could preserve Fabled Passage for like some synergy later down the line with Scavenger's Talent, but that will require me to take 1 damage in order to play this Bristlebutt Farmer, and that's just something that I'm not going to... I'm not about. I'm honestly not about. Bristlebutt Farmer. Let's just spread out with our own stats. As you guys can see, like, our opponent's development is very impressive. I just realized they don't have a source of red mana right now. The Merrics cannot provide them with red mana anymore, which means that even if they pick up the guy with the 3-drop, right now they can't play it. But they keep finding white creatures. Is this mono white? No. They have this. I'm getting paranoid. They're about to start scrying with these Warden of the Skies. And we need to play Vein Ripper. Vein Ripper is the key here. Vein Ripper is the key. We cannot attack. We have to keep everything in the back. We have the Bitter Triumph there. And we have the Vein Ripper, who we have to play next turn. It's the way we win this. We're gonna tap that and scry. Tapping some more. They're really building up this Warden. What else did they tap? They tap this, they tap that. Did I miss? Oh, okay, so they tap 3. Oh, okay, I couldn't see it. I was like, wait, what? Okay, they got the red mana. I repeat, they have the red mana. These Wardens. At the end of the turn, we sack the food. Every ounce of health matters. We have a Skyfisher Spider there, but now it's time to play you. And swing with these 3. Because now with Vein Ripper on the board, yep. I have to hope that they don't have removal for Vein Ripper. Down to 2 cards. Maybe they're doing some math here. Worst case scenario would be the enchantment that deals damage. The one that, you know, has all of your creatures attack one creature and deal 1 damage to it. Because I cannot have this, like right now we're in a critical situation. I cannot have this Vein Ripper die. I just can't. If Vein Ripper goes down, like they're just gonna run through us. God, what do you have? What do you have? Okay, you do have that guy. Do I survive this? I don't know. Block you into you. Block you into you. Block you into you. 2, 6, 12. 12, okay. This is the most damage we can prevent. Damn. How did I miscalculate? Oh shit, I mean I couldn't have prevented more damage. Like I literally, like, this is 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. But if I didn't discard that land, yeah, if I didn't discard that land, like, I wouldn't have been able to play Vein Ripper. I just was not spread out enough. And I don't know if I had enough time to, like, actually pop more food tokens. Like, The bitter triumph, man. The bitter triumph actually ended up costing us big time. Modark is in the top 1800. I guess that's where they start putting the numbers. Yo, I'm kind of tired of this damn enchantment eluding me, man. Seriously. Where's my scavenger's talent? Took him forever to make that play. Okay, we play the now environment, and we got his Zoni in the graveyard already. It's an aggressive deck. Clearly like mono reddish. They seem to also have a shock. I'm gonna play Lord Skitter. The early Lord Skitter comes in. Like, I understand they're packing in a big hit incoming, but I'm bracing myself for it, and I have this bitter triumph later. And I don't think they're gonna. I think they want to build that attack before going in, so we gotta continue building ourselves. A land would be nice here, because it allows us to play the Vine Reap Mentor into that. The more of these we have, the better off we'll be. I'm keeping everything in the back. We're building an army here. An army of squirrels, rats, and we're feeding them properly. This bitter triumph is sacrifice this creature. It deals damage equal to its power. Okay. And now is when they sack it, and then in response, we sack a food. Okay. Big hit mitigated. Definitely a different, some different elements to mono red that I'm not used to facing, like this Voldaren Thrillseeker. But it's not the first time that I see her, so I have played her against her before. I'm gonna go ahead and first of all stop. I hate how Merrick's just does not want to tap itself. Like, fuck off, Merrick's. You're not that special. You're not special at all. For fuck's sake. I'm gonna go Lord Skitter's Butcher, and I'm gonna make use of this moment. I'm gonna get rid of instants and sorceries in the graveyard. I'm gonna sack one of the rats, and I'm gonna draw. Slickshot Show Off is dangerous. I'm still going to keep these in the back. I have the Bitter Triumph, the Bristlebutt Farmer. Can really help us here. There it is. That's why I'm targeting the instants and sorceries first. Whenever I have nothing better to do, I'm gonna heal. That's the beauty of having food tokens in abundance in a matchup like this. Oh! Now we're talking. But I still want to play the farmer first. Oh my fucking god, Merrick. I swear to god. I'm in a position where I'm not under... Like, they're out of gas. I'm not under immediate pressure, so I'm going to develop this Bristlebutt Farmer to get more food tokens in. And eventually, I should be able to draw the Scavenger's Talent. Like, I swear to God, it exists. I have it in my deck as a 4 of. I swear. I promise. Okay. I'm actually going to swing with the Bristlebutt Farmer because I can't just, like, stay like this. Not doing anything. Like, I need to. I have a Skyfisher Spider that's going to go a long way here. So I'm going to start applying a little bit of offensive pressure. You got to be kidding me. Oh, there we go. They could block, but they would have to lose a lot of units here. Yeah. Scavenger's Talent. Into Skyfisher Spider. Sack you. Kill you. And now every time we, one of our creatures, once per turn, every time one of our creatures dies, we generate a food token with this. And we're going to be looking to activate it. We can activate it next turn with 5 mana. We can go to level 3. And once we do that, we're in a position to just dominate here. Seems to be a very creature-dense mono-red deck. Nice. Take a bit of a hit there. They're gonna deal 4 damage to us directly. But we're gonna see that 4 damage. We'll be like, okay. How about I heal 6? Ah, they actually go for Lord Skitter. Pretty decent play there. Not decent enough, though. Level 2. Level 3. Now we mill ourselves twice. We drop him down. We mill ourselves again. And now we get to work. 1 rat, 2 of those. Izoni. We mill ourselves some more. We gotta find that Ripper. That's one of the key things. Like, this mill effect is very powerful, so we don't want to overdo it. There's the Ripper. There he is! Let's get a Lord Skitter. And one of these rats. We get evidence 4 and we trigger Izoni's effect. Now all these tokens I can actually sack with Izoni to heal and draw cards. The Scavenger's Talent engine is online. Like, unless they run some like fringe green enchantment removal and mono red, which I don't expect ever, they're dead. This game's done. This is the deck at its most powerful form here, and I see no reason not to get a little bit. No. You know what? No, we don't need to rush it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. How about we go double? I'm not even gonna attack with Izoni. I'm just gonna attack with this. Okay. All right. But the death of that allows us to proc this twice. And now at the end of the turn, we're actually not gonna sack any creatures. We're only gonna sack food tokens because we're bringing back the one and only Bane Ripper, baby. Okay, we're milling ourselves a lot here. Let's start milling our opponent, to be honest. The problem is if we mill them too much, we give them the ability to flip that, so I don't want to overdo it, but I also don't want to put myself in a position where I run out of cards, right? Because I already have pretty much everything in the graveyard. And then, now what we're going to do is we're going to sack you. We're going to sack you. And we're going to sack you. And we're going to bring back you. We're milling ourselves as we do this. But that's the gist of it. You know, we can now use that and Izoni to because basically we have 2 tokens here, we have 1 token here. Actually, I may have screwed this up. Yeah, I should not have sacked that. No, I screwed this up. I actually messed this up. I should have sacked the Lord Skitter's Butcher and not the tokens. I needed 4 tokens. Because then with 4 tokens, I can proc Izoni. And I can do that. Yeah. Yeah, this sequencing can be tricky, but that's the end game. Like with Vein Ripper and Izoni, like that's what took me a long time to figure out. Because most of the time I was playing the Viper Mouth, right? Or the snake. And I realized with the snake that it was competing with the Scavenger's talent for permanence to sack, and it wasn't really applying enough pressure. Vein Ripper is a legit way to just like make use of all this self-sacrifice and put the game to an end fast. And yeah, not the best example of it this game, but a good example of it, I guess. Let's go for another one. Pandemonium. I see what you did there. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the Scavenger's talent in the opening hand. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that's pretty good. The only downside to this is we have 2 Fabled Passages. And we're facing white, so there is a world in which they run. I expect bats. Whenever I see Orzhov, like it's generally bats. I'm gonna develop the 9 Vermin. I'm gonna mill myself 2 cards. Pump up the graveyard a little bit. There we go. And then I'm gonna drop the Fabled Passage to guarantee that I can play Lord Skitter on curve. Tap land. Okay. It's safe to expect them to have removal here. It's quite predictable for that to be the case. So instead of playing into that with Lord Skitter here, there's obvious like removal that's sitting in their hand for Lord Skitter. I'm not going to play into. Instead, I'm going to do this. So I can play that game all you want, man. Oh, shit. Well. Fuck. But now we do have the opening. I'm not gonna bop this Fabled Passage because I could always proc, actually... Yeah. There's a Vein Ripper there, very nice. We get our Scavenger's Talon back and we have Vein Ripper in there. At least we don't have to deal with farewell anymore, but now they not only have they drawn, they know exactly what they have. Which is a problem. If I were to guess, they search for a board wipe here. There is a way to generate it, like play Zoni. I need to think here. How do we navigate around a board wipe? This is how we make full use of our offense, and then we can use a Zoni to sack all these tokens as they try to wipe us. So they're playing the Starfall Invocation. Right now, I'm just going to develop another Scavenger's Talent into Lord Skitter. I'm not going to pre-commit these before I'm actually going to get the value out of them. Two forests is all I need. I'm happy that they're playing this instead of playing the other one. Maybe they're also playing the other one. They main deck that. They main deck that. So we gotta start again with the milling. I don't know how many Kutil flankers they main deck. God, that is annoying. We need to be able to apply pressure to that, man. This is the turn. This is the turn that we have to deal a lot of damage. We have a Coiling Rebirth, okay. This is a matchup that quite simply is going to be obnoxious. I need to mill myself like crazy here. I need to find. How do I have 14 cards left? Jesus. How do I have 14 cards and I have like nothing? Like I have not found any of my... Game plan, mill them. Simple game plan. We still have so many creatures. We have 12 cards, but so many of them are creatures. I could play Zoni, but at this point we're going Vein Ripper. And they're taking more damage because of this. If they go for a board wipe, Vein Ripper hits them really hard. Ugh. Control games. Coiling Rebirth. Vein Ripper combo. Only board wipes work here. And we've already seen 2 of them and another one exiled as well. Yeah. Yeah, that's rough, isn't it? That's rough, isn't it? Look at that. Yeah. The power. And now all we gotta do is use that precious map and that'll do. Hey! Let's go!